Hi, I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal magazine, and today I'm going to walk you through making this stylish coffee table. Let's get started. The components of basic furniture like this table are often cut up on a table saw. But what if you don't have a table saw? I say no problem. Just get yourself a track saw like this battery-powered Makita version, and you're well on your way. It's common to use a combination of hardwood covered plywood and solid lumber when making furniture. In this case, the top is made from solid walnut. The sides and drawers are made from walnut veneer covered plywood. You can find all the details for these components in the drawings found below. First up, gluing up the top. We sourced our walnut from Rockler Woodworking and Hardware in an S4S form, which simply means surfaced 4 sides. The top is pretty wide, so to help keep the edges aligned, I used biscuit joints to achieve a level top when the piece is being glued up. They don't really add any strength to the joint, just make the glue up more accurate. With solid walnut glued up and the glue curing, it's time to start making parts from the walnut veneer covered plywood. Most hardwood veneer plywood has a good face and a not as good face. When working with a track saw like this Makita, be sure to put the good side down to minimize tear out of the show face. So now I can get busy cutting out some pieces. You'll notice foam here. It keeps the saw blade from cutting into what you're working on. Now that the plywood parts are small enough to fit on my bench, let's take a moment and talk about how this battery-powered track saw really works. The aluminum track and the circular saw are specially designed to fit together. The saw blade fits precisely on the edge of the track, which means that you simply place the track on your marked lines and you will make a perfect cut every time. And for this project, you've got a lot of parts to cut. With most of the plywood components cut now, I'm going to show you a little bit more track saw magic. I want to put a miter all along this edge. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. With the track aligned to the edge of the panel, I adjust the track saw to cut at 45 degrees. Then I cut a super accurate miter. I've got 3 more miter cuts to make. One of the downsides to hardwood veneer covered plywoods is that their exposed edges don't match the veneer. We solved that problem with this veneer tape that has a hot melt adhesive on one side. In this project, we are going to apply the tape to all the exposed edges. So what's up next? Well, we're actually going to start putting some pieces together. Once again, I'm going to make use of this battery-powered biscuit joiner from Makita. It works on the same battery platform as the track saw. You'll see how this all comes together shortly. All right, it's finally time to start putting some pieces together and gluing and clamping them up. And because 4 hands are better than 2, I've asked my buddy Nick Brady to help me out. You ready to go?
Sure are. Let's do this.
What are we going to do?
Let's put some clamps on and glue on and assemble. Here we go.
I've got this really cool brush. With the carcass and clamps, I need to get busy making the drawer. I'll be using the same techniques you've already seen to make the drawer. Cutting the drawer parts, forming biscuit joints, applying the veneer tape, and gluing and clamping the drawer parts together. As you can see, I cut a rabbet into the bottom of the drawer using this Makita router that's based on the 18-volt system. I'll fit and glue a drawer bottom into this in a bit. This walnut panel gets cut in two to make the two sections of the tabletop. But first, we need to sand it flat. Start out with 60 grit sandpaper, sanding across the grain, and then move up through the grits, but sand diagonally with the next grits. Finally, when you get to 150, start sanding with the grain. There are a few more steps to complete machining the top, so I better get busy. Cut the top to size. Round over the edges. Cut the top in two. Mount the flip top with piano hinges and apply a finish. With the finish on the carcass and cured, I use these tabletop connectors to mount the top. To help the two-way drawer to slide a bit easier, I used a couple of thin pieces of stock as runners. Underneath the carcass, I built this frame. It does a couple of things. It adds a shadow line and some shape to the table. It also, by using these legs, allows me to lift up the tabletop 16 inches above the floor, which is just about perfect. The frame can be made from walnut plywood or solid stock. It has a couple of blocks tucked into the corner. You mount the legs to those blocks. So there you have it, a nice little piece of furniture made entirely from battery-powered handheld tools from Makita. And I have to say that track saw is a game changer. I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal. Keep on making sawdust.